Our next guest, his son, was murdered by an illegal immigrant. Our guest blames the open-door policy for the loss of his son. Our guest is Dan Golvach. Welcome, Dan. It's good to see you, sir. How do you do?
Hi, Stuart.
I'd like you, please, to take us through this story of what happened to your son.
Stuart, back on January 31st of 2015, my son had taken a night off. He worked 2 jobs, and he had taken a night off to take his girlfriend out for her birthday in Northwest Houston, and he dropped her off. On the way home, less than a mile from his house, he stopped at a red light, and a 4-time deported illegal alien who had done 5 years in prison for attempted murder had a rap sheet back to 2001 and pulled up next to Spencer, pulled out his handgun and blew Spencer's brains out.
Well, that's an extraordinary story. I have to add something to this, Dan, in that since 2010, 124 illegal immigrants were arrested, then released, and each of those 124 illegal immigrants went on to murder someone, either another illegal or another immigrant or an American, but they committed murder after being released, after being arrested in the first place for being an illegal immigrant. Why do you now support Trump?
Well, the reason I support Donald Trump is because I believe he has the option that no other candidate has, and that is to not have to pander to cheap, illegal, labor-loving donors. If he chooses, he doesn't have to, make campaign promises, but turn around, and then while he's in office, appease his donors who don't want their cheap labor pool compromised.
What reaction, when you tell your story in the media, I know you have told your story, what's the reaction to you?
It's always shocking. I mean, you can't, I don't have to sauce it up. It is, the story itself is pretty far out there, but it's true. And the guy went on to shoot 2 more people, and then he tried to kill a police officer. But yeah, it was just random, just shooting people, and
did anybody ever explain to you why this man was not immediately deported after he'd served his 5 years in prison? He was obviously dangerous. Anybody ever come forward? Anybody ever tell you?
He was deported when he got out, but he just turned right back around, and he moseyed on up to the sanctuary city of Houston, Texas, where he knew that he could operate, and most of his dirty deeds had been done in Hidalgo County, which is in South Texas, but he came on up to Houston, Texas because of the sanctuary city policies, and that insulated him from,
Dan, I have to tell you, obviously this is a dreadful and tragic story, but we want you to know that by telling that story, you may have some impact on policy in the future. And I'm sure that I and my viewers will join together and say, we hope you have some impact on policy, because what happened to you and your son is an absolute disgrace. Dan Golvach, thank you very much for joining us, sir. We appreciate it.
Thank you.
Yes, sir.
Thank you.